Welcome to our conversation on the fascinating blend of science and spirituality, where we take a deep dive into what many call the scientific method on the spiritual path.
I'm really excited to explore that. It's like merging two worlds, right?
Exactly, it's like applying a rigorous scientific approach, but internally, in our inner laboratory of the mind, body, and soul.
Yep. So we're talking about testing spiritual hypotheses much like you'd test a scientific one, correct?
Right on. Think of it. Spiritual exercises, prayers, meditation, visualization with light frequencies, and even something like Axiatonal Alignment are all seen as experiments. They're not just rituals. They're data points in your inner lab.
And the idea is to gather data on these experiences to see if they produce consistent, measurable changes like higher energy or clarity.
Exactly. It's about collecting, observations, analyzing them, and then drawing conclusions that ideally are reproducible. It's like moving from blind belief to actual knowing your own truth.
Right. That's pretty cool. It's like having your own spiritual laboratory where the experiments are your life experiences, right?
Yes, it is. It's like you're the scientist of your own soul, formulating hypotheses. For instance, one might hypothesize the 100% light quotient increase produces enlightenment. Then you actively engage in practices requesting that increase, and you observe what happens.
Yeah, I see. Now, how does one even quantify something like a light quotient? Isn't that a bit nebulous?
That's a good point. But the idea is not to measure it with a meter, but rather by noting subtle shifts in mood, awareness, and intuition through journaling and self-reflection. These act as your data collection methods.
So it's really about blending subjective experience with an objective approach, right? Yet sometimes, don't you think the personal nature of these experiences might defy the reproducibility needed in science?
That's an interesting challenge. Sure, individual experience can vary, but what we're aiming for is a structured method, repeating practices, noting consistent changes, and refining the process. It's like fine-tuning an instrument.
Right, exactly. I can see that working. Would you say that methods like meditation and visualization become the experiments where, say, you test a hypothesis about consciousness?
Exactly, yes. In essence, meditation serves as both the experiment and the data collection device. You engage in internal observation. If the hypothesis is that meditation enhances clarity, then you compare your state before and after. It's much like an internal, personal scientific study.
And I've heard about axiatonal alignment in this context. Could you expand on that? How does it fit into this inner science?
Sure, the axiatonal alignment is presented as a spiritual exercise where one looks at aligning internal energies, kind of like recalibrating a compass. The claim is that this alignment can be observed via changes in energy levels, balance, and clarity. It's like having an empirical test on something that seems metaphysical.
Yeah. But isn't there a risk of confirmation bias here? I mean, we might end up believing only what we expect to see.
That's a solid critique. And yes, that risk exists. The trick is to maintain an open yet critical mind while recording observations. It's crucial to reflect honestly on your results, regardless of prior expectations.
So, in a way, spirituality becomes a trial and error process where you continually refine both your practices and your understanding, kind of like a continuous feedback loop.
Exactly. It's iterative. You formulate a hypothesis, test it through practices like, say, the 100% light quotient increase, then record and analyze the outcomes. If something doesn't work, you adjust and test again. It's very similar to a scientific method.
Right. It's almost like we're bridging the gap between intuition and hard science to secure a deeper truth.
Precisely. Think of it as moving from just having faith to knowing with empirical evidence gathered through inner experimentation. This blend not only validates spiritual experiences,
Absolutely,
but
yeah.
also tests and refines them.
And it seems to also enhance credibility of spiritual practices in this modern scientific age. Would you say that's one of the main benefits?
Yes, indeed. By relying on rigorous inner experiments and a structured method, spiritual practices can be viewed from a fresh perspective, not as blind faith, but as conscious living, grounded in both inner wisdom and outer knowledge.
That makes sense. I like the idea of it being an inner science. It almost feels like it encourages a form of self-accountability, where each spiritual insight is verified by personal experience.
Right, exactly. It's about taking responsibility for your truth. You test, observe, document, and then adjust. This methodology not only increases inner awareness, but it also encourages embracing scientific inquiry within spirituality.
Yeah, that's pretty transformative. But how do we ensure that our inner observations are credible? How do we know that our subjective data isn't too skewed by personal bias?
Well, that's where repetition comes in. If you repeat the experiment over time and see consistent positive changes, whether that's an uplifted mood, increased clarity, or a balance in energy, that consistency itself acts as credible evidence.
And this process seems almost like an iterative refinement, where the practices evolve based on what the inner data suggests, almost like evolving a natural system.
Exactly. It's like refining a recipe. You experiment, see the outcomes, and then tweak the ingredients. The ingredients in this case are your spiritual exercises, meditations, or contemplations.
Right. Now, a thought, do you believe that integrating these methods could lead to unexpected scientific discoveries, sort of like how spirituality might inspire new theories in physics or biology?
That's a compelling idea. Both realms, science and spirituality, are searchers for truth. When they intersect, they can inspire a holistic worldview where inner insights may eventually influence outer discoveries.
Very intriguing. So in a way, it's a fusion that can enrich our understanding of both the external universe and our internal landscape.
Absolutely. This inner science not only bridges the gap between science and spirituality, but also enhances our overall sense of conscious living, providing a framework where our experiences are both felt and, in a way, scientifically verified.
Right, yeah. What I find most compelling is the idea of transitioning from belief to knowing. It's like we're remapping our journey from traditional dogma to an ever-evolving personal truth.
Exactly. And that's perhaps the most transformative aspect, moving from a state of simply believing to one of active, reconfirmed knowing through a process that's repeatable and testable.
It's truly inspiring. But do you think everyone can apply this method, or is it something reserved for a select few spiritual seekers?
I believe it's accessible to all. The principles of the scientific method, forming hypotheses, experimenting, collecting data, and refining, are universal tools. When applied to the inner world, they empower everyone to take control of their spiritual evolution.
Absolutely right. That really rounds it out. It's an invitation, really, to each of us to engage actively with our inner experiences and leverage them for deeper growth.
Exactly. It's a powerful union of receptive, open-hearted exploration with critical scientific inquiry. And that union can lead to profound inner transformation.
Yep. Well, this has been such a thought-provoking dive. It's like we're reimagining what spirituality can mean in a modern, interconnected context.
Indeed, it's about transcending the old boundaries of belief and forging a path where inner science meets spiritual living. The phrase, "we are time, anti-time, Sat Nam," really encapsulates that spirit of timeless truth and transformation.
Very well said. I'm inspired to start my own inner experiments, maybe record my experiences and see where it leads me.
That's the beauty of it. Each journey is unique, yet the process remains the same. Hypothesize, experiment, observe, and evolve. And in that, true self-realization is born.
Right. Well, thank you for this engaging discussion. It really opens up the idea of merging thorough inquiry with spiritual practice.
Thank you as well. Keep experimenting, keep questioning, and always trust your inner laboratory. Sat Nam.